Welcome to my series called You Might Not Be Getting Pregnant If ... In this video, I'm covering the topic you might not be getting pregnant if you're not actually ovulating. I'm Bridget Tyler, a childbirth educator, doula, integrative health practitioner, and of course, best of all, a mama. And I'm all about providing education that empowers women and families. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button and the little bell so you're notified each time a new video comes your way. Now let's talk about what a true period is, what causes bleeding without ovulation, why it matters to you if you're trying to conceive, and really, most importantly, what your body is trying to tell you through all of this. So to properly understand an anovulatory bleed, let me quickly make sure we're all on the same page about what ovulation is. Ovulation is required for pregnancy to occur. It's when an egg is released from the ovary, and when you're trying to conceive, you're hoping sperm meets the egg on the way to the uterus and then implants in a healthily prepared uterine lining to continue growing. Now, an anovulatory bleed is when your body bleeds but didn't ovulate first. That might surprise you because so many of us grew up thinking that any monthly bleed equals a period, but that's not always true. A true menstrual period only happens after ovulation occurs. If you're not ovulating, you're not having a true period. And if you're not ovulating, there's something underlying going on that is causing that. So let's break down what a healthy menstrual cycle is meant to do. There are two big hormones that are the main characters in your cycle. The first is estrogen, and it helps prepare your reproductive organs for potential pregnancy. So during the first half of your cycle, estrogen rises, and by doing that, it accomplishes three important things. It thickens your uterine lining, it improves cervical mucus, and it prepares your body to ovulate. Then in the second half of a healthy cycle, progesterone takes center stage, and it stabilizes the uterine lining by shutting off the estrogen-driven growth. A progesterone spike confirms that ovulation did actually happen. It calms inflammation in the body, it balances estrogen out, and it sustains a pregnancy. Think progesterone pro-gestation. If pregnancy doesn't happen, then progesterone is going to drop off, and that drop off of progesterone is what triggers that true period. But in an anovulatory cycle, the second half where progesterone takes the stage doesn't happen. So you can see why this would really impact you when you are trying to conceive. Estrogen during that first half may still rise. Sometimes it even rises too much, but progesterone never shows up because ovulation never happened. So your uterine lining, it gets built up, but the cells, they don't mature. They aren't structured in an organized way, and they're actually unstable in their response to hormone signals because progesterone isn't there helping regulate the estrogen. Really, the lining becomes inflamed now, and eventually it starts to shed, not because progesterone dropped like it's supposed to, but because your body just can't maintain that uterine lining anymore. That is shedding, and it's not actually a true hormonally induced period. And because it's not following the normal menstrual cycle hormonal plan, the bleeding might look like irregular cycles, spotting for days or even weeks, having very heavy or very light bleeding, bleeding with no ovulation signs, or a very long cycle length. So when this is happening, what's really going on? Because the issue isn't bleeding without ovulation. That is a symptom, or as I prefer to call it, a signal from the body that's trying to say, there is something going on that's causing me to withhold ovulation. So let's look at 6 common root causes for anovulatory bleeding. Number 1, blood sugar and insulin dysregulation. If your blood sugar is spiking and then crashing all the time, or it's chronically elevated, or it's chronically low, or if you're insulin resistant, your brain says this is not a safe time to reproduce. Your blood sugar is your brain's way to decide if there is enough reliable energy for the body to function. So when your blood sugar is all over the place, your brain says, nope, energy is not sufficient, it's not reliable, it's not sustainable. And the brain says, we need to just survive right now. We cannot reproduce. With insulin, when your body becomes resistant to it, it can raise testosterone, which then interferes with follicle development. And the follicle is what helps mature the egg that is released during ovulation. And this is a big reason why women with PCOS often don't ovulate, but it can be happening long before you get any diagnosis for it. Number 2, chronic stress and high cortisol. As I said before, our brain will always choose survival over reproduction. If you are in a chronic state of stress and cortisol stays elevated, it shuts down the hormonal signals needed in order to ovulate. So even if estrogen rises, the signal to release the egg never happens. You might be bleeding regularly, but you're not actually ovulating. Number 3, mineral imbalances. Ovulation is an electrical event. Honestly, everything in our body is an electrical event, which is why minerals are essential to overall function and how we feel. Ovulation relies on magnesium, zinc, sodium, potassium, and calcium, not just for hormone production, but for communication between your brain and your ovaries. And if you're low in magnesium, if you have imbalanced sodium and potassium, or your calcium is dominating, ovulation can stall out entirely. Number 4 is thyroid dysfunction. The thyroid controls how efficiently cells in your body use and produce energy for your body to function. If the thyroid is slow or it's not converting thyroid hormones optimally, it can result in low progesterone levels, it can result in weak follicle development, or it can result in delayed or skipped ovulation. And so thyroid health really comes into play when we're talking about anovulatory bleeds. And then number 5 is gut and liver overload. Estrogen is supposed to be used, and then it's supposed to be broken down and then cleared out from the body. And the liver is the one that really breaks down estrogen and then sends it on its way to the gut, usually to eliminate it. But if your liver is overburdened by other toxins, it's going to delay that breakdown of estrogen, which keeps it active for longer and then creates hormonal imbalances and increases inflammation in your body. But let's say that the liver is healthy and it can break the estrogen down and send it to the gut. If the bacteria in the gut is imbalanced, if you are more constipated, if you have unaddressed food intolerances, this can cause the estrogen that's supposed to be going out as waste to actually be reactivated in the gut and then reabsorbed into the body. And both of these things can create estrogen dominance and unstable cycles. Now, after hearing all of that, you might be like, wow, am I just falling apart over here? But here's something that will hopefully help you not feel helpless. Anovulatory bleeding is not a total malfunction of your body. It's actually your body saying, I can start building, but I can't complete the project. You may have just enough fuel to start the cycle, but not enough safety, not enough minerals or hormonal signaling to finish it with ovulation. So it's not malfunctioning, it's actually protecting you because it doesn't want to complete something that it can't support long term. And in this case, it's a pregnancy. So we don't want to just force ovulation. And unless you're going to use medication to do that, you really can't force it anyways. We want to heal the chronic stress and the elevated cortisol. We want to give your body stable energy. We want to make sure the electricity is firing in your body with minerals. We want to support your thyroid and make sure that your detox pathways are optimally functioning. This is going to set your body up to help ovulation to happen so that your body is once again completing the cycle the way it's designed to, so that it's able to build and it's also able to complete. So I hope this video has helped you. And if you have questions, ask them below. They may become a topic of a future video if you put it down there. And I just want to say thank you for being with me in this video, and I will see you in the next one. See ya.